Oh, god damn it. Pikachu, get this thing started with Thundershock.
Pika pika!
Welcome to another episode of Brapcast.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Brapcast. My name is Ashley Ackley and tonight we are here with Commodore Perry of Team Rocket. How you doing tonight, Commodore?
I'm quite well. How are you?
I am doing great. Just beat Nugget Bridge and declined to join your club, but in all other things, I'm doing well.
That's good to hear. What?
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Team Rocket? Who are you guys and where are you from?
We started out in Florida. It was 2013, right around 2014, when we kind of decided to make a group. I was in college there, and I had a couple of friends who saw my moped, and they were like, yo, what is that? And I was like, it's basically a bicycle with an engine that was manufactured like that. And, you know, let them have one ride, and it's kind of like that first hit of crack. So, of course, they jumped on and got a moped.
Hey, kid, first one's free.
Yeah, exactly. So I was their little crack dealer for a while. And we started out as the Key Row Moped Gang, which is Christogram. It was a Christian college, but I mean, we were pretty much outcasts. It was a lot of fun, though. But we wanted something a little bit more fun for a name, and you know, we're all millennials, so we decided something along the lines of like we wanted to do Lost Boys from like Hook, but you know, we found out Lost Boys are a gang out in like California, I think, and there's a couple other things that were tossed around. But we landed on Team Rocket, and that was one that most of us could hop on board with. There was one guy who just hated Pokemon because he grew up in Japan, but it was all right. He made it through. It was either that or something from Dragon Ball Z. But we started out in Florida, and as time went on, our members started, graduating and moving away, and we started picking up new members, and then kind of went across a few different states. So we're not all somewhere at once, but there's at least 2 or 3 of us gathered. So there's probably about 10 or 12 of us that are really active right now.
Very cool. And as a personal thank you for choosing Pokemon and not Dragon Ball Z.
I have a big passion for both, but I definitely spent more time behind the Game Boy playing Pokemon than watching Dragon Ball Z.
Right on. So that's a little bit about how you guys got started. What is the club all about? What do you guys get together for? Why do you guys do what you do?
We started out just kind of doing weekly rides, and that was in Lakeland, Florida, when before I graduated college. So we have everybody from the school there that was part of it, and some people outside of it. But as time went on, we realized that some people were leaving, but we had an event in Lakeland to go to the Strawberry Festival in Plant City. And so we made a promo video for it, and it was pretty much just me and a couple other people from the gang, but it was pretty much me in very short shorts wearing a Team Rocket shirt, and it was to the song Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. And it was basically a moped car wash, and I was all sudsed up. It was very sensual, if you will. So we put that on Moped Army, and it was a hit. And no, that was like one of the main things that we did. It was a long time ago, though, because it's really hard for us to get together now, but for like a big event. But nowadays we have, I don't know, like a weekly thing when I'm in Michigan. There's a couple of guys there in Michigan that are kind of like the Team Rocket North, and so they run a little bit differently. And pretty much everyone else is spread out between Kentucky and Florida and Virginia at the moment. So any big events, kind of unlikely at the moment, but we're still, doing our own thing every day as a group.
So a mostly naked, sudsed up guy in a Pokemon t-shirt is what it takes to get a good reaction from Moped Army?
I think it was the best reaction. I heard from another guy, I saw him at a rally afterwards. He was like, I almost flew across the United States to go to this ride. And I was like, it was only like a day thing, too. He's like, I don't care. That video was so awesome. I didn't want to go. And I was pretty stoked on that.
I am sad that I was not part of the community at that point because yeah, I would have flown down for that as well.
Well, the video is still up somewhere. YouTube got a hold of it, and they told us that we couldn't have the audio because it had Def Leppard in it. But it's on my personal Google Drive, and I'll send it to whoever wants it. It's fantastic.
Ooh, all right. You might get blown up here for that one.
That's all right for me. Everybody needs a little piece of that action.
So besides uh, Mankini car washes, what else do you guys do? Do you have any rallies you're thinking of doing? Any meetups, get-togethers?
Yeah, so we're thinking about doing a rally potentially next summer, but again, like it kind of depends on where. It's pretty much half and half between Kentucky and Michigan at the moment. The guys in Florida have kind of like retired; they're not super active anymore. But we were definitely going to be a part of Gramacon, if it's not Gramacon. Yeah, it's Gramacon. If that still is what it's titled. Helping out with that a little bit as far as like doing some of the media and photography. Every rally I go to, I bring my camera, and I'm kind of like the unofficial photographer, and it's not enough of that. So I always try to incorporate a little of that Team Rocket presence, and then you get these pictures that you have forever, and you know the Team Rocket's with them. But that's pretty much what's on our future at the moment, yeah.
That sounds really cool. For the record, I put my vote down for Michigan.
Yeah, I think I would too. That there's a larger concentration and community there than in Kentucky.
We only get so many months out of the year to ride, like 3 months, so
Right.
we take it very seriously when it's riding season.
Yeah. And I noticed, I mean, some of the nicer looking bikes have come out of the north just because there's all winter to sit and work on everything where you can't ride it. And in the southern states, you're just riding the whole time. So things start to get a little bit, ugly at points, but they still run. So that's all
You
that matters.
can't do any of those fancy builds because you're constantly repairing, because you're constantly riding. I totally get it.
Right.
So when you guys do get together, what does that look like?
Oh, typically when I'm in Michigan, we have get together there. Either show up at my house or it's my mom's house. I used to live there. Or Dusty Rim's house. He's one of our members there. And he's got a barn that's pretty much filled with mopeds. So that's kind of like the meetup. We'll ride a bunch of back roads. Some of the Michigan back roads, like the dirt ones, are just so beautiful. And we'll hop around there a little bit. Typically Rochester, Clarkston, Lake Orion, Oxford. Once in a while we'll get into like the bigger cities like Troy. And just have a good time. In Florida, when I was doing it with the college guys there, we'd meet outside one of the dorm houses, and it was on a street called Buttercup Drive, and there was like 5 or 6 of us that would just rip down this road. And one time one of the guys came out and he was like, "I'm tired of you guys riding those things. It sounds like somebody strapped a chainsaw to it." So we had to take another way out because he was pissed. But typically it's just going out to eat. Maybe take a cool Instagram photo with some cool hashtags. But there's nothing too crazy that we do as far as we're all very docile, if you will. We don't party too much, but we do love to party when it is proper timing.
Very cool. Very cool. What, when you guys do get together and ride, what kind of bikes do you have? Do you guys seem to all ride the same thing, or?
Oh, there's a variety. I think I'm the only person with a French moped that runs anyways. I've got my Peugeot, and that thing I think it's the second moped I ever had, and I've kept it ever since, and so I'm always changing it and adding to it. I've also got a Cobra. Some of the other bikes we've got Tomos, of course, Pinto. I've got a friend who has a Marini with it's an MO1, I think, and it's a laser. He's also got a Tomos that he made into a bobber with, I can't remember, the Street Mate stuff. He threw all that on a top tank Targa. It looks pretty cool. There's also a Maxi, some Newports. There was a Batavis at one point. And there was also another motorbicane. It was called a Rotten Banana. It was this yellow hunk of Florida seasoned moped that would run sometimes not, but typically that individual, they would take their Tomos out. But yeah, pretty much across the board. I've got a Vespa as well. What else I got another Peugeot I'm working on right now.
I see you're a masochist as well.
I try to be when it's possible.
I'm not sure how to ask that. If you guys have a bike that is considered like the centerpiece for the group.
Yeah, so either typically when I'm riding, it's either depending on who I'm riding with. If it's in the north, usually Dusty Room will have one of the nicer bikes, and I'll have one of the nicer bikes. But in our Florida gang, we had pretty much just my Peugeot or my Cobra that people would gawk at. Mostly because, I mean, the Cobra looks like a motorcycle, but it's got pedals, so people will get very confused over that, which I love because then I can explain what it is. And the Peugeot, it looks like it's straight from Europe. I've spent a lot of time getting different parts and making them work. It's got some motorcycle pieces on it. It's got parts from a Peugeot Vogue, actually, that was import. Like somebody actually personally imported this specific model. They never sold it in the U.S., so I've got some pieces on there. But it all flows together pretty well. And recently at a motorcycle rally called Kentucky Kickdown, there was a moped/scooter show there, and I put my Peugeot in there. Her name is Darla, and Darla got some pictures of her, and a lot of people come by and look at that, and it's just a good-looking bike, yeah.
Could I get a glamour shot of Darla there to throw next to the episode?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. I know a lot of people are curious now about what that kind of amalgamation of parts looks like.
Yeah, it's it's got actually put a Pook rims on it. The mags, I found some powder coated ones in Tampa. There were 5-stars, and I bought them for like $140. And it turns out that Charlie Buzzard, Charlie Maynard, he originally had those powder coated, and he saw them on like Facebook one day. He was like, "Are those mine?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe." And then we got to talking, and it turns out they made it from Richmond all the way down to Lakeland, Florida, within like 2 years, and I still got them. And that's what's on the Peugeot now.
Wow. It sounds like you have an artist streak for just putting parts on stuff to see what sticks.
Yeah, definitely. I was a bicycle mechanic for 7 years, so it's really cool to see what parts from bicycles will cross over into, the moped realm. And I found some sealed bearing headsets that fit in mopeds. That's actually what I have on my Cobra. For the record, the Cobra's name is Ingrid, so I got Darla and Ingrid. My goal is to have all old lady names for all of my mopeds because they're awesome. But yeah, it's just cool seeing different pieces and which ones cross over from different bikes. I even found out you can run a Pook E50 stock ignition on a 835 Tomos. And a lot of people will be like, no, it has to be the 2-speed. And it doesn't, which is very interesting, but that's a whole nother saga.
I should have put up the hacker tuner questions for you. I got a name for my Moby as well.
What is it?
Fucking piece of shit, son of a bitch, goddamn junk.
That's actually the exact name that the other one that we were talking about in Florida had.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. My buddy who owned that, he was like, man, for a French bike, you think it'd run a lot more. And I was like, yeah, I guess so.
There's a war joke there somewhere, but...
Oh, yeah, he was a history major, so he was always cracking him.
Ah, there we go. Oh, so the sealed bearing headstock thing, is that a hidden piece of arcane knowledge, or do you share that?
Oh, yeah, no, it's a sealed bearing headset, and the old bicycles, they would have their steer tube would be 1 inch, and the new standard is 1.125 inches. So to have like a nice sealed bearing headset, which is the bearings that are around your fork when you turn left and right, it's going to be pretty much close to impossible to come across those nowadays, because that's something that you would have for your, middle of the 1990s mountain bike that you spent, thousands of dollars on. But at the bike shop, we had one laying in the back that nobody ever bought, so it sat there for 15 years now. Like, I wonder if this will fit, and it does. Sometimes the headset cups that press into the frame are a little bit different, but you can take some shims. So usually you use some people use a soda can, but I'll take a can that's like a very clear can or something like that. It's a little bit thicker, and shim it out that way, and it works just fine. The standard moped will have a threaded fork where you get a nut that goes on the top, and that's what pulls all the bearings tight. All you need to do to get a 1-inch headset for a bicycle to work that's sealed is you just got to press a star nut into the fork and the steer tube there, and away you go. You're set.
Wow. So yeah, that sounds pretty easy. Just find an unobtainium bike with that bit on it, and try to get it out of there and make it work.
Exactly.
Life
There's
hack.
some people who are bicycle mechanics that will see it because it's a Cane Creek headset, which is a really nice one for bicycles. They'll see that and be like, explain this to me. I'm like, all right, here's how it goes.
Oh man, any other little tips and tricks or words of wisdom?
I know a fun one is for a bicycle, you can get 20-inch tubes to fit a 16-inch moped wheel, which is, a lot of people know that, but not everybody. So if you're going to get tubes for your Tomos on Treatland, just go to Walmart and spend $4 instead. There's also for not the shift cables for a bicycle. If you buy the little mini NARPs on Treatland, and you just take those and you can make your own throttle cables like that. And I spend, I don't know, $1.50 per cable, and I just keep reusing that same NARP instead of buying like a $15 throttle cable. And I've been doing that for years, so that's a really good one as well.
That makes sense. Oh, I lost my train of thought there, where I was going with that.
You're good.
Do you have anybody you want to give a shout out to, or?
Yeah, all my Team Rocket boys, the originals, and the newcomers. There's probably one of our youngest members, but one of our most passionate ones, Ian Jones. He's in Florida now. He was from Texas originally. He's going to be going to Alabama State to get his doctorate very soon, and we're very proud of him. Also, Dusty Rim, because he's taught me pretty much all the basics, and not all I know, but man, he certainly is pointing me in the right direction for a lot of stuff, and helped me become the mechanic / moped rider I am today. I'm very grateful for that as well.
Really cool. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about or mention or bring up while you had the mic?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day because when we first started Team Rocket, we had a mission, and we still do. And so we developed a mission statement, and I thought that it would be appropriate, along with that, to have a code of conduct. And so every member in Team Rocket, abides by this code of conduct. And they know that they're abiding by that when they go to rallies and stuff, to act a certain way. And, it's not act cool, basically, represent our group in the way that we want to be seen. And so I found lately that there's been different, not lately, but, over time, but I was just thinking about this lately, where there's been different situations for different members of different gangs where they may act out in certain negative ways, and their gang / peers don't really know how to handle it. And I find that it'll be very helpful and almost needed to start implementing for these different groups a code of conduct that every member abides by. Because then if they act a fool or they, gives somebody the wrong impression of them or their group, they're able to hold them accountable to that. And I think that's something that a lot of groups should, hopefully, if you're hearing this, to jump on. Just make a code of conduct. How do you want to be seen by others? And hopefully that'll help resolve a lot of conflict.
I think that's a good thing for every crew leader to look at and think introspectively about the group and what some of the trouble has been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make Pokemon jokes this entire episode.
I love all Pokemon jokes. And one cool thing about the Cobra is I actually have an Arbok painted on the top of it, which is a Team Rocket Pokemon.
Yes,
So
please.
we love to goof around with that.
Now, the first thing I thought when you said, "Oh, we have a code of conduct," and I'm like, "Is it to unite all peoples within our nation? What kind of?"
It was the one of the jokes that we had when Pokemon Go came out. So we've all got our jackets that say Team Rocket on the back. And we had one of our members, his name was Jesse. He's kind of a wild card. He went over to this guy. He's probably 15, and he grabbed his phone, and the kid was like, "What?" Because he was playing Pokemon Go. And then my buddy turned around and they saw the Team Rocket patch. He gave him his phone back, but he thought that was absolutely hilarious. I really enjoyed that.
As long as the kid thought it was funny afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if I don't think my friend knew how he was gonna react, but it's quite fun being Team Rocket and then making constant jokes about stealing people's Pokemon or over their phone or in real life, because I still take people's Pokemon in real life.
So if somebody wants to be a member of Team Rocket, what do they have to do?
I think the biggest thing for me is two biggest things. Number one is your character. I am a big advocate for refined character, and I mean that in just ways of having compassion for others, having a general love for other people, and wanting to do the right thing or meaning well. And that's not always something that I've found in people. And so when I'm as a president, when I see different people that might start hanging out with us or might be interested in Moped, that's one of the first things I kind of evaluate over time. The second is just a general passion for mopeds. And it doesn't you don't have to be the best mechanic. You don't have to be you don't have to prove yourself to us. Like I said, the biggest thing is character, and everything else will follow after that if you just ride mopeds, and I will help you out with whatever you need, and you'll learn over time. And I love teaching, and I'm not going to make you sit and not feel like you can be part of a group just because you haven't been around a long time. But yeah, those are two biggest things: character and passion for mopeds.
I think that's about all the questions I've got. Do you guys have an initiation ritual?
Kind of. It changes every single time we get a member. I think it's mostly just like kind of like a party and presenting of the patches. There's nothing specific. I think there's more so of a hazing period, and it's just all in fun though. It's nothing crazy. But we had a member, Michael. He forgot his jacket at home once, and so he didn't have a patch or anything. But we decided that it would be appropriate that he gets the Team Rocket logo spray painted on his back and he rides shirtless. And he was absolutely down for it. And so there's a picture of us on our Instagram a while back from when we were spray painting the stencil on his back. And it was just a good time. But we like to just have fun, and we're very spontaneous. So I think it's fun to have a different initiation ritual every single time. Keeps people on their toes and know what to expect.
Ssounds like a good way to do it.
Love it.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? Or?
Yeah, so we're going to be having some new decals soon and some buttons and whatnot. And so, also, I'm doing the Moped March Madness, and I know it's not March anymore, but I'm still doing it. So it's 32 mopeds going face to face, and if you're on Facebook, all you got to do is click to vote, and you can vote for which moped you think would win in a battle, and you are the one that decides what kind of battle that is. Basically, whichever bike you like better, vote for. And so that's probably going to be going through the month of April, and that's available on my Facebook. It's public, so anybody can vote.
Awesome. Get out there and vote.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Just follow us on our Instagram. It's just Team Rocket and Moped Gang, and we just post a lot of fun stuff on there as well, what different members are doing in different states, different meetups that we're doing. Yeah, a lot of good content.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being on tonight, and it was a pleasure talking with you and learning a little bit about Team Rocket.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. You have a good night.
You as well.
This has been another episode of Brapcast. Tonight we prepared for trouble and made it double with Commodore Perry of Team Rocket. Do you know someone who's the very best like no one ever was? We want him on our show. You can get a hold of us on the Twitters and the Facebooks at Brapcast. If you gotta catch them all, find our other episodes on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and the Google Play Store. As always, until next time, stay happy and stay... Oh, God damn it. Okay, I gotta go, guys.
Make it double.
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse!
James.
Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light.
Surrender now or prepare to fight.
Me out, that's right.
This was the greatest episode ever.